Hello everybody, today we are going to be working on the Marit Shawl, and it is in this beautiful yarn by Berroco. It's Topaz, it just came out for fall 21, 72% wool, 20% alpaca, and 8% nylon. And for care instructions, you just want to hand wash this in cold water and lay flat to dry. It's such a beautiful yarn. I love all the colors it comes in, and it's so soft and great to work with. So for starters, we're going to do a longtail cast on. So you just want to make sure you have the right amount of yarn for this cast on. And we're going to begin by just looping the yarn around the needle and continuing forward with the longtail cast on. Alright, so I'll show you that again. You're just going to loop it around the needle. And to start this, you're going to go around the outside of your thumb, outside of your pointer, and through that loop that you create. So outside, outside, and through the loop. You're going to let go with your thumb and pull. Outside, outside, through the loop, and pull. Outside, outside, and pull. You can readjust when you need to. You can outside, outside, and pull. So you're going to continue on until you have the correct number of stitches. So once you have the correct number of stitches, we are going to knit across the row, turn our work, and knit across again. We're going to be knitting just straight across the row, knit on the right side, knit on the wrong side, until you have the correct number of garter ridges. So we just finished our first block, and now we're going to move on to the second tier, which consists of 2 blocks. So now we are going to cast on using the backwards loop method. You just want to wrap it around your thumb and use your needle to pick it up. And you'll see that you're creating these backward loops onto the needle, and it is a great way to add additional stitches. Loop it around and pick it up. You don't want it to be too tight, but snug enough to stay on the needle and continue with the correct gauge. Alright, so now you can see here's our work with our extra stitches, and now we are going to knit across these stitches we just added, and you're going to stop right before you get to the stitches that are on that original square. Okay, so we have 1 stitch left from the stitches we just cast on, and we're going to slip slip knit it with the first stitch of our first block. So we're going to slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, and then we're going to take our left needle and put it through the front so we can knit those 2 stitches together. Perfect, and now we are going to turn our work and we are going to knit back across those same stitches. Now we're going to turn again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to knit our stitches until we get to this gap here. You're going to be able to see it form. We're going to take those 2 stitches and do a slip slip knit once we get to them. Okay, so we're at this gap, and so we're going to slip slip knit. And we're going to turn our work. We're going to continue with these 2 rows back and forth. Going to knit across here. After we finish knitting across these stitches, we will turn and do a slip slip knit. Alright, so we just finished knitting those stitches. We're going to turn again and slip slip knit at this gap. We're just repeating these 2 rows over and over again until we work all of those stitches on that first block. Alright, we're at the gap, and so again we're going to slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, and then knit those 2 stitches together. Alright, so we're going to continue those 2 rows until we work the stitches from the original block together with the new stitches. So here we are. We have the first block from that first tier. This is the first block of the second tier, and now we're going to work on the second block of the second tier. We're going to pick up and knit along the edge right along here of that first tier, and we're going to pick up and knit. So you're going to insert your needle and loop your yarn around as if you're knitting. Insert your needle, loop the yarn, and pull it through all along the ridges of this very first block that we made. Alright, so now we have our next set of stitches. We're only going to be working on the stitches we just picked up, and we're not going to touch the stitches on that second block. So we're going to knit across. Okay, so we're just working with the stitches we picked up, and we're not going to be touching the stitches from the first block of that second tier. And we're just going to knit back. Perfect. So now you can see that gap forming, and we're going to just knit across these same stitches until we have the correct number of ridges. Great, so this is what we have now. We just finished the first and second tier, and our next video will show you how to work the third tier.